Item 5, new business. It's a request for an adoption of a resolution confirming review of the acquisition of the property at 1690 Claremont Avenue.
Chair Biasotti, Planning Commissioners, this item is a request of the Planning Commission to adopt a resolution confirming the review of the acquisition of the property at 1690 Claremont Drive by the City of San Bruno for public use purposes and its conformance with the San Bruno General Plan. This proposed action this evening is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, in accordance with sections 15061B3 and 15316 of the CEQA guidelines. The background on this item is as follows. The City of San Bruno has been negotiating with the estates of Gregory and Levon Bullis to purchase their vacant lot at 1690 Claremont Drive for public space purposes, possibly the reconstruction expansion of Glenview Park. This property is located at the southeast intersection of Claremont Drive and Glenview Drive. The property is adjacent to the Glenview Park, which was destroyed during the PG&E gas line explosion and fire in September of 2010. This property also backs up to the Crestmore Canyon area. At this point, the city has reached a tentative agreement with the estates of Gregory and Levon Bullis to purchase this property. And the City Council has given direction to staff to proceed ahead with the acquisition of this site. However, Government Code Section 65402 requires that the local planning agency, in this case, you, the Planning Commission, need to report on the conformity of this acquisition with our general plan, the local San Bruno general plan. Staff has provided an analysis of this proposal in the staff report, and I'll summarize it for you. Basically, the site in question is designated low-density residential in the San Bruno general plan. This land use designation allows primarily for single-family detached housing at a density of 2.1 to 8 units per acre. We've also looked at the general plan open space and recreation policies, and we've identified a number of policies that we believe would support this acquisition and would allow you to find this proposed acquisition in conformance with the San Bruno general plan. I'd like to summarize those policy statements for you. Again, these are policies from the open space and recreation element of the San Bruno general plan. Policy OSR-A includes language to develop and maintain parks and recreation facilities for a wide variety of ages, abilities, and interests. OSR-E to recognize open spaces such as the Crestmore Canyon, Junipero-Serra County Park, SFO wetlands, and neighborhood canyons as an integral part of the overall image of the city. OSR-4 to undertake a program to add 20 acres of parkland to the city system over the next 20 years. And finally, OSR-5 to strive to locate neighborhood park facilities within 1/3 mile walking distance of all residences in San Bruno. Acquisition of the subject property would enable the city to use the site for public purposes such as the expansion of Glenview Park, and would provide the opportunity to add recreation facilities and parkland, as well as provide greater visual access to the Crestmore Canyon area in support of the policies that I've mentioned. As the city would go forward with this acquisition and take action to actually move forward and use this property for either park or open space, there would be a need to amend the city's land use diagram to identify this property as parks/open space land use as specified in the general plan document. Overall, though, we find that this proposed acquisition is supported by the open space and recreation policies in the adopted general plan. And our staff recommendation to you this evening is to move forward and adopt the attached resolution to your staff report. That's Resolution 2013-02, thereby finding the city's acquisition of 1690 Claremont Drive for purposes of public use in conformance with the San Bruno General Plan. That concludes my staff report. I would be pleased to answer any questions you may have on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
Yeah, through the chair. Kind of an off-the-wall question on this. The city doesn't own the property right now. It's owned by the current owners, or the Bolas family, or
It's owned by the estate.
The estate.
That's correct, yes.
now in past projects, I know ones I've been involved with on the outside, you can't bring only the current owner can bring a project to the planning commission for proposed uses. How is the city able to bring a proposed project when they don't own the property yet?
Well, in this particular case, we're talking about the proposed acquisition of the property. And Government Section 65402 specifically states that if a local agency such as the City of San Bruno wishes to acquire or dispose of property, it needs to review its general plan as it's planning to make that acquisition and make a determination that the proposed acquisition would conform with the general plan. So your action tonight is consistent with government code. And in terms of an actual project, let's say the expansion of Glenview Park, that's something that would be considered subsequently. And at that point in time, if this proceeds ahead as we anticipate with acquisition, then the city would be the owner at that time.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Mishra?
The acquisition of this property, is that through the trust funds or is it the City of San Bruno funds?
I'm assuming that it's through the trust fund. I don't know the details necessarily of the direct acquisition. I'm assuming that.
So would that mean that the custodian of the property is the City of San Bruno or the trust?
You know, Commissioner Mishra, I'm not quite sure of the details of that. I really focused in my report on the proposed acquisition and its conformance with the general plan. The city manager and city attorney are handling the acquisition more directly.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Now that we have a couple of folks in the public, would you like to speak on this issue, or are you here for something else? Okay, so public comment is closed. We'll move the conversation back to the
Through
commission.
the chair, I'd like to introduce the resolution, waive the reading, and move the adoption of Resolution 2013-2.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is this a roll call vote?
Yes, it is. Chair Biasotti,
Here.
Vice
Aye.
Chair Peterson,
Aye.
Commissioner Mishra,
Aye.
Commissioner Marshall,
All right.
Commissioner Chase.
Aye.
Thank you.
The resolution is adopted. Okay, item 6A, 223 Euclid Avenue.
Excuse me. Is there
sorry.
an appeal period? Question.
Pardon me?
Is there an appeal period?
On this item, it's a resolution and it was adopted. There's a 10-day appeal period.
Okay, there's a 10-day appeal period on that item.
Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Mishra.